Well, welcome to those of you brave enough to come out in the cold. Happy to see you, and welcome to those of you watching from home. We'll be doing just a bit more reading together this evening because Janet's asthma is still giving her trouble, so she needs a bit of a break from time to time. We're fortunate to have her here at all. If you don't have a prayer book with you, perhaps zip out and get one because no slides tonight. Judith is also ill, so that's the way we're going this time. Okay. So this evening we have our Shabbat candles, and we have a candle that is to remind us to think about the hostages, the 101 or so hostages that are still in Gaza, waiting to be freed. And as we approach Hanukkah, this is a particularly poignant time, I think, to think about hostages. So I thought I would do the Hanukkah melody that I don't usually do, assuming I remember it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Oh, them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say, Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you. Let us say Amen. Oh, hear my prayer I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. Oh, hear my prayer to you. We begin our service this evening with a reading on page 2. Page 2, right at the beginning. I'll give you a sec to find that. We are called unto life, destiny uncertain. Yet we offer thanks for what we know, for health and healing, for labor and repose, for renewal of beauty in earth and sky, for that blend of human holy which inspires compassion, and for hope, eternal promising light. Please join me. For life, for health, for hope, for beautiful, bountiful blessing, all praise to the source of being. Baruch atah Adonai mikor nefesh kol chai. And then we turn to page 253. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope. And please join me again. For Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living. For Shabbat memories, glowing even in darkness. For Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love, we offer thanks and blessing, Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh ha-Shabbat. And then we'll come to Lecha Dodi. We will sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And at 9, as usual, our practice is to turn to the entrance of the sanctuary to welcome the Shabbat bride, the personification of our love for Shabbat, on page 138.
שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לה לה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לה לה, פני שבת נקבלה.
So we move now from the opening prayers to the core of our service with the Chatzi Kaddish, which please join me in chanting together, and we'll give her a little break before the Baruch Hu. So, Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, please join me if you know it. Be'alma divrach urtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon yevyomechon, u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, uvizman kariv, ve'imeru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpoar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata dal miran ve'alma v'yemeru. Amen. Please rise for the Barchu, the call to prayer, which is on the next page, 146.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
I'll ask you to turn to page 193 at the top. May the one whose spirit is with us in every righteous deed be with all who work for the good of humanity and bear the burden of others, who give bread to the hungry, who clothe the naked, and take the friendless into their homes. May the work of their hands endure, and may the seed they sow bring abundant harvest. Ahavat Olam is on page 150. If you want to sit until we do the Shema, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah, you can sit. Ahavat Olam Beit Israel Amarata Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta. When we lie down and when we rise up, we reflect on your laws and commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever, your Torah, your gift to Bnei Israel. Everlasting love, Amachavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo.
So the Shema is our central prayer, called the watchword of the Jewish people. You know, I've heard that for as long as I've been coming here, the watchword. One of our previous rabbis used to use that like all the time. So I looked it up because I wasn't precisely sure what it meant, and it means our core belief, which I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. That's understandable. So please stand for it, and then you may be seated following the Shema itself.
Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. So am I doing the Vehafta? Where are you?
Well,
Would you like me to?
I can join in.
Okay, let's do
go
it
ahead.
together. You can pick which melody yourself, and I will join you.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושינתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Emet. And on page 159, sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home, to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. We sing Hashkivenu next on page 160. And with Hashkivenu, we express our hope for peaceful sleep and an awakening to a day with hope for life renewed with safety and good health. Page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim l'chaim Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha v'taknenu be'etzach tova milfanecha v'hoshienu l'man shemecha
On page 161, one of my favorite readings in this prayer book. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporeh sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. I just realized I didn't say what melody it was. It was that traditional one.
I guessed
You
it
guessed it,
correctly.
okay. All right, then I can give my little intro. So we come to Vishamru, and this is the version that I learned when I first started attending here in the late 1980s. And I'm thinking, okay, my son was 10, I think, when we came, and he's 45 now, so long time ago. In my mind's eye, I still see Rabbi Jeff Gale clapping along and singing it. It's amazing. Okay.
You can join me. V'shamru v'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדור תמרית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדור תמרית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדור תמרית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדור תמרית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדור תמרית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדור תמרית עולם.
Our covenant for Shabbat. I'm working with a bar mitzvah student who's going to be having his bar mitzvah in March in the coming year, and this is part of his portion. And, you know, as we were going through it, I suddenly realized it as I was reading it with him. Oh my goodness, this is so cool. So for sure we'll have to do the Fashamru then too. Okay, so we stand for tefillah, and if you want to follow the traditional choreography, every time we say Baruch atah Adonai, we stand and we bow. And then at the end of that line, you come back upright. Okay, so tefillah, page 164, please rise.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, וזוכר שתי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מקלקל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, ודורשים בכל יום להללו הסלע, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. And on page 173 at the top. Another of those readings that somehow each time I feel I need to include. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. Please join me for this part. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. And are we up to Ritzeh? Mm-hmm. Yay. Ritzeh on page 174.
Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amcha Yisrael. Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amcha Yisrael. Your spirit upon us. We need only call, you are near. Your presence builds courage within us. Your still clear voice calming our fears. Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amcha Yisrael. Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amcha Yisrael. El karov lechol korav, b'nei Shefach ruchacha aleinu, Shefach ruchacha aleinu. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, you are our God, and we are your people. We long to behold you in Zion restored.
Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir shechinato litzion. Favorites of Janet's compositions. on page 177 at the top. And you're welcome to join me if you would like on this one. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Shalom Rav echoes our hopes for peace. Goodness knows in our world today, there are examples all over the world where people are hoping for peace. Following this song, we take a few moments to add our own personal prayers. (178)
Shalom Rav al Israel amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Israel amcha tasim leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Israel amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Israel amcha tasim leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. יהיו לרצון עם רפי והגיון ליבי. יהיו לרצון עם רפי והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו רצון עם רפים והגיון ליבי. יהיו לרצון עם Adonai tzuri v'goali, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri v'goali. Go inside your heart, just be. Go inside your heart and see what it wants, what it needs, what it yearns when you breathe. Go inside your heart and see. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be kind, be true. May they be acceptable to you, oh my rock and my Redeemer.
We've arrived at the part of our service that looks at a bit of Torah, and this week's portion is Vayashev, and we'll say the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. So I read a variety of interpretations of the portions when I'm preparing for a service, but almost always mine come back to Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks of blessed memory, whose writings, even though he wasn't a Reform rabbi, I have yet to find anything I don't agree with that he says. Sometimes a little close, but. So in this portion, deception has taken place. Joseph has been sold into slavery. His brothers dipped his coat in blood and bring it back to their father, saying, "Look what we have found. Do you recognize it? Is this your son's robe or not?" Of course, Jacob recognizes it and replies, "It is my son's robe. A wild beast must have devoured him. Joseph has been torn to pieces." And we then read, Jacob rent his clothes. He put on sackcloth and mourned his son for a long time. His sons and daughter tried to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. He said, "I will go down to the grave mourning for my son." Well, there are laws in Judaism about the limits of grief. Shiva, Shloshim, a year. There is no such thing as a bereavement for which grief is endless. The Talmud says that God admonishes one who weeps beyond the appointed time. "You are not more compassionate than I." And yet Jacob refuses to be comforted. The refusal to be comforted sounded more than once in Jewish history. The prophet Jeremiah heard it in a later age. "A voice is heard in Ramah, mourning and great weeping. Rachel is weeping for her children, refusing to be comforted because her children are no more." So why was Jeremiah sure that Jews would return? Because they refused to be comforted, meaning they refused to give up hope. And so it was during the Babylonian exile, as articulated by one of the most paradigmic expressions of the refusal to be comforted. "By the rivers of Babylon, we sat and wept as we remembered Zion." A midrash gives a remarkable explanation. One can be comforted for one who is dead, but not for one who is still living. It says, in other words, Jacob refused to be comforted because he had not yet given up hope that Joseph was actually still alive. That, tragically, is the fate of those who have lost members of their family, the parents of soldiers missing in action, for example, or the parents of those still held hostage in Gaza. They have as yet no proof that their loved ones are dead, so they cannot go through the normal stages of mourning because they cannot abandon the possibility that the missing person is still capable of being rescued. Their continuing anguish is a form of loyalty. To give up, to mourn, to be reconciled to loss would be a kind of betrayal. In such cases, grief lacks closure. To refuse to be comforted is to refuse to give up hope. Jews are the people who refused to be comforted because they never gave up hope. Jacob did eventually see Joseph again. Rachel's children did return to the land. Jerusalem is once again the Jewish home. All the evidence may suggest otherwise. It may seem to signify irretrievable loss, a decree of history that cannot be overturned, a fate that must be accepted. Jews never believed the evidence because they had something else to set against it: a faith, a trust, an unbreakable hope that proved stronger than historical inevitability. It is not too much to say that Jewish survival was sustained in that hope, and that hope came from a simple, or perhaps not so simple, phrase in the life of Jacob: he refused to be comforted. And so, while we live in a world still scarred by violence, poverty, and injustice, so must we. As I enter my 9th decade of life, that just is beyond belief, I hope that the current trend of anti-Semitism is stopped and that we can hope instead of fear. Can you hear that song?
Can you hear that song?
So we come to Mishaberach. Prayer where we say our hopes for those who are ill to heal. And I will include this week, again, Shauna Forrester Smith. We have many others, Judith and Steve and Janet and Len. And, our staff are challenged. And David, yeah, David's doing well. As is Len, I understand, which is really good to hear. Are there others for whom you would like to mention?
For a prayer for healing.
For Mishaberach, sorry. John? Okay. I'm going to add to that to Michelle Aziza and Eduardo Shore. Okay. Mishaberach is on 371.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mikor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We now have reached our concluding prayers, which we start with Aleinu on page 586, and for that I will ask you to rise if you are able.
עלינו לשבח לדון הכל, לתת גדולה לוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב עיקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו ובזולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Zichronom livracha, may their memories be for blessing. This week we remember Joseph Dana, father of Nate Dana, Celia Margulis, mother of Rosalie Simeone, Sonia Kubek, friend of Donald Schaefer, Yehuda and Yehudit Furman, child Shoah victims, Shalama Hornstein, mother of Bernie Hornstein, Ruth Swedlove, mother of Fern Swedlove. Are there other names for whom you are in mourning or remembering this evening? Right. Longtime employee of the temple. And Yudi Hantelov. Okay. So it is our custom to say the mourner's Kaddish together. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah. I'm sorry, it's on page 598. Again, we'll start. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chai echon uvyom echon uv'chai dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kari v'yamru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach le'olam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpoar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shmei d'kudisha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Please be seated. So a few announcements. I want first to thank all of those who took part in creating the more than 100 Hanukkah art cards for the residents of Simkin Center. It seems like half of them are here this evening. How lovely.
It was fun.
It was fun. We will have our last lunch packing day this year on Sunday the 22nd, so that's this weekend, at noon, to provide a nice lunch with some Christmas goodies for the clients of StreetLinks. I don't know if you saw their announcement. They are in the process of opening a new shelter with 37 more beds. That's cool, yeah. We are also collecting warm winter wear for them, and you may bring donations up to the 22nd to the temple, after which we will deliver them. So if you're thinking to come and you're not familiar with our hours, please do check that the synagogue is open when you want to come. Our annual Hanukkah potluck will take place next Friday evening, so the Friday during Hanukkah, which is December 27th. It's the third candle. So if you have one, bring your Chanukiah and 4 candles, as well as your food contribution for the potluck. We are also asking those who can to bring a couple dozen latkes to share. We've always, in the, 20 years, made them here, but we always had the potluck and then the service after, and now that's a reversed one with an early service. So if you want to stay for the potluck, that's how we're thinking we will be able to have them ready to serve when we finish the service. Otherwise, you'd be standing there and making them at the time. It was a great idea, but Judith trumped. There will be a service on January 3rd, and it will also be a 6 o'clock service, as is usual over a holiday period. So we come to Kiddush and Hamotzi, and I'll ask all the children to join me. Okay.
The 28th,
So-
where we get to celebrate Ruth, our wonderful, wonderful Ruth.
It's a birthday
special,
party.
special birthday party.
Yes, yes. Celebrating my getting really old. So if you're able to come and would like to join us, Phil is throwing a party here for me on the 28th, that's Saturday evening at 7:30. And it'd be nice to see you there.
I like it.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai. Oh, sorry.
Oh, do you want me to? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei bri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzovanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, כי הוא יום תהילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו ברכרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון, חינכלתנו. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
And now for Hamotzi. Would you each like to put a fingertip on it? One finger?
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in song together as our prayer is joyfully said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
For you, are you a hungry girl tonight? You could share with Mom. You can have more downstairs after, okay?
Thank you.
So we will be having an oneg downstairs following the service, and we have a closing song first. Oh,
Which is
before we do that, let me do this before I forget. In spite of the asthma. In spite of the asthma? What's wrong with that one? Okay, so in spite of the asthma, Janet has been fabulous this evening. I love having that music
Thank you.
in the service. You know, it just changes something tremendously for me to have that. It sort of makes me more, I don't know, connected. So, thank you to Janet.
Singing is actually good for asthma.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah,
right.
it helps you with breathing.
Oh, yeah,
And
of course,
playing
'cause-
musical instruments, yes.
Yeah, because you have to breathe in deeply. And to Steve for yeoman's service. He's the only tech here this evening. He's done it all, so thank you so much, Steve. And to you who came out in the cold, happy to see you. Okay,
Very happy.
Are we doing Hatikva?
Yeah, we'll do Hatikva,
Okay,
so
so
please rise.
The service was focusing on hope. That
Is
was
it
how
for
I
hope?
was thinking about it, so we're ending with a song of hope, and I'll ask you to rise for Hatikva. Did you, what is it? 678 if you're looking up the words.
Kol balev b'fenima, nefesh Yehudi homiya, ulfate mizrach kadima, ayin letzion tzofia, od lo avda tikvateinu, Hatikva bat shnot alpayim, להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון ירושלים. להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון ירושלים.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.